Well, hello, YouTube, and welcome to this brand new channel called Jack's Tech Hut. I'm your host, Jack, and when you're starting a new channel and you're starting to think about what am I going to talk about, how can I bring up new technology to you that's not already been on YouTube, and how can I present that maybe in a different fashion? First, I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I've been in technology for 28 years, and currently I am a technology educator. I teach cybersecurity and advanced networking. So I thought with this channel, why don't I use this channel as an outlet to present to you what I teach and what I know? And I think that's going to be a great way to bring to you some different kind of content. And I'm not really sure which way it's going to go, but I'm going to try to stay on separate paths. We're going to have separate playlists for each individual topic that I'm working with. And hopefully it'll benefit you in some way and you can learn from this. So what we're going to start with today on this very first lesson is I'm going to start talking to you about penetration testing. Now, if you don't know what penetration testing is, it's the act of testing out networks or testing out security of computer systems for clients. And I often get this from my students. They ask me, they say, well, wait a minute. If you're testing the system out, are you hacking? And in an essence, you are pretending to be a hacker. But you have to understand the principles of hacking and the principles of being able to break into these computer systems. So I thought that's where I would start a brand new series here on YouTube. And it's under the label Jack's Tech Hut because I am in my hut here of my technology realm, right? Like many of you may have at your house. And I figured this is a great place to start. It's interesting to me. It should be fun to me to be able to present this stuff to you. And hopefully it's going to be fun for you to actually learn it. I'm going to allow you to ask questions through the comments. And eventually we'll start having some places where I can post some documents for you to kind of help you along the way and be able to teach you on YouTube and do it essentially for free. So it's not going to cost you anything at this point to learn this stuff. So let's go ahead with this very first episode and we're going to start talking about explaining the different types of hackers. The first thing you have to know and understand is the different type of hackers out there. Now, occasionally I may stop and have a little sip of coffee here. Or, depending on what time of the day it is, I may actually stop and have a little swig of beer. Whatever. Mainly it'll be coffee, though. So, let's go ahead here to the computer system, and I'm going to show you, I prepared a document that we're going to go over, and we're going to just look at the different types of hackers and where they fall into the hacking realm at. And we're going to be also learning on here, my preferred method of penetration testing is using Kali Linux. Now, guys and girls out there, there's a lot of billions of great YouTube channels presenting this topic. I just want to put a new spin on it, maybe slow it down a little bit, and try to teach you under the way that I teach my students is that I don't have an assumption that they know anything about what I'm talking about. And we'll try to work from there and see where we can get to. So let's go ahead here. First of all, we're going to start right off the bat on this document that I prepared. So we're going to start by number one. The very first topic we're talking about is explaining hackers and the different types of hacking. Okay. The number one that you see on all these crime shows and all these different 2020s out there is they talk about black hat hackers. So a black hat hacker, such as my beautiful black fedora here, are cyber criminals that illegally crack systems with malicious intent. Seeking to gain unauthorized access to computer systems is the definition of a black hat hacking. Once a black hat hacker finds a security vulnerability, they try to exploit it, often by implementing a virus or other type of malware, such as a Trojan. Now, through these lessons, if you stick with the channel, subscribe here, you're going to learn how to create these backdoor Trojans. And I'm going to show you how to deliver these things to these computer systems very easily, probably even easier than you may be thinking. But we're not doing it on a black hat hacker sense. We're doing it right now under the exploration of learning a new talent. Okay, now what is a white hat hacker? A white hat hacker are ethical security hackers who identify and fix vulnerabilities, hacking into systems with the permission of the organization they hack into. This is the key element with permission. Okay? White hat hackers try to uncover system weaknesses to fix them and help strengthen the system's overall security. This is exactly what the penetration tester does. They get paid by the company to uncover vulnerabilities within the company's security or their networks or their computer systems or servers or what have you, to find the vulnerabilities in what is going on within their systems or what is being allowed to be seen or being able to infiltrate a system very easily. And we're going to do that in a lot of different ways. We have a lot of different manners of exploiting systems and people. Okay, so that is a white hat hacker. Gray hat hackers. The gray hat hacker may not have the criminal or malicious intent of the black hat hacker, but they don't have the prior knowledge or consent of those systems that they hack into. Nevertheless, when the gray hat hackers uncover weaknesses such as a zero-day vulnerability, and we'll talk about those down the road, you don't really need to know what that is right now. Remember, we're under the assumption that maybe you don't know anything, and maybe you do, and you're following along and you're okay. They report them rather than fully exploiting them. But gray hat hackers may demand payment in exchange for providing full details of what they uncovered. So a gray hat hacker is, in a sense, trying to penetrate a company. Once it gets into that company, then that's when, they maybe will take something like a private document for proof. Then they will call the company or get a hold of the company's CEO or COO or CFO, usually the CIO, the Chief Information Officer, and they say, look, we were in your systems last night or this afternoon and we found this document, and they prove it. And then what they're seeking is basically their advertisement, their calling card. Then they offer that company, a contract and says, look, this is how much you would have to pay me to actually help you fix the vulnerabilities. Okay, then they go back up towards that white hat hacker place. But they don't have to get the job first. What they do is they penetrate the system, prove that they can get in, and then they would get a contract. Now, there's some that you may not hear about. And in the essence of exploring this whole entire gamut of penetration testing, I uncovered a couple hats that aren't talked about all the time. The three main ones are black, white, and gray. Those are the three you need to know. But here's a couple that you will want to put in your back pocket. A green hat hacker. Green hat hackers are green because they're inexperienced and they may lack the technical skills of more experienced hackers. Green hats may rely on phishing or other social engineering techniques to bypass security systems. We will talk in later on lessons about phishing. I'll explain what that is to you. And we'll talk more about social engineering and how we can do that. It still works today, and it's pretty scary. All right. A blue hat hacker. A blue hat hacker are white hat hackers whom an organization employs to help improve its security system by conducting penetration testing. So white would be more if you're a company. Okay, so if you're a company out there, and let's say this is Jack's Tech Hut. So Jack's Tech Hut goes out and gets contracts for penetration testing with companies. That would be under the white hat hacker. Whereas the blue hat hacker would be, I would go into the company, they would hire me full time, and I would go into the office every day and check the systems from the inside as I'm working for the company. So that's a blue hat hacker. Now, red hat hackers, also known as vigilante hackers, red hat hackers are motivated by the desire to fight back against black hat hackers. You see a lot of these guys on YouTube, right, when they're going and they're scamming the scammers. Okay, you see that a lot where they get into their systems and they take over their systems and they wreck their computer systems. Still, they do this by infiltrating black hat communities on the dark web and launching hacking attacks against their network and devices. Now, through these lessons, I may in fact take you onto the dark web and show you how to get on there safely and teach you a little bit about different ways to get on. And a lot of people believe if I have a VPN, that's the safest way, and it's really not. Um, you know, you want to use what's called proxy chaining, and we'll talk about that later, but it allows you to bounce your IP address around many different countries or different continents, even, and be a little bit harder to, well, almost impossible to find. By the time they trace you back, they would get tired of looking for you. So these are the top 6 types of hackers out there. Now, again, through these lessons, I really hope that you're using these lessons to work on being a white hat hacker or even a blue hat hacker, where you're going to work for a company and or you're working for yourself and you're going to try to find ways to get into systems. This is exactly what I teach my students in school, to be able to, learn about what all these other hackers do. And I'm going to show you ways to get into systems, because the only ways to harden a system is to learn how to actually get into the system itself. So I hope that you've enjoyed this first video here on Jack's Tech Hut. And I hope that you would give me the opportunity to come to you and be able to start helping you with some of this stuff. And like I said, it's very interesting to me, but I'll be doing all forms of networking, computer upgrades, computer builds, and all the typical stuff you'll see on a tech show, right? But I want to bring stuff to you in a different way, under the assumption that you don't know a lot about this stuff. You're like a beginner, maybe an intermediate person, and you want to learn a little bit more about your craft, and maybe I can help you along the way. So, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Jack's Tech Hut, and I will talk to you in the next video. Until then, keep practicing, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye for now.